People feel and express love in different ways. Understanding those differences can help relationships and marriages. Today we have Dr. Lucky Udirile and the writer of Dive In, Mrs. Ashley Thaba, to explain more about love language.
These love languages, they totally can create a conflict between couples. The most important thing that couples need to know is that people are different, people respond to love differently, people express love differently, people communicate love very differently.
So it basically means, how do you express your love? So people express their love in different ways. Some express their love through spending time with others, some through giving gifts to others, some through touch, physical touch, words of affirmation, and acts of service. So those are the 5. Now for me, my love language is spending time. So, I don't really care so much about if you give me gifts or whatever. I just want you to spend time with me. My husband, on the other hand, is acts of service. So if I make him dinner, or if I give him a massage or something like that speaks love to him. So it's good when you can understand what your partner's love language is, because then you're able to speak it in such a way they hear. For example, like growing up, my mother's love language was like more giving and serving, and I just wanted to spend time. And so it wasn't until much later that we realized that she wasn't feeling love from me because I wasn't serving around the house, and I wasn't feeling love from her because she wasn't spending time with me. And so I think a lot of times you can actually be expressing your love to your spouse or to your children, but not in a way they understand. And so they end up feeling frustrated, and you feel frustrated simply because you're not speaking the same language.
Okay.
It is very important to know your partner's needs. When you realize what your partner does and doesn't care about, you can empathize better.
There are also
Well, it's very important to know what your partner needs. So one of the things my husband and I like to do, not every day, but kind of typically, is we'll say something like, how's your love tank today? And so what we're saying when we say that is like, how do you feel love for me? Because one of the things that people need to know in marriage is that you don't wake up every day feeling, the butterflies in your stomach and this like sense of excitement and all the time. So we'll say, how's your love tank? And sometimes I'll be like, it's on a 2. And he'll say, what can I do to make your love tank go up? So sometimes that's just, can you please take the kids for like an hour and let me just have a break, And so he just needs to take the kids out for a walk or go play soccer in the yard, and I can just sit and read a book or, play on Facebook or whatever, just something that's mindless and for me. And then I'll come back and I'll feel refreshed, And so sometimes it's not even necessarily something he's doing directly with me, but a gift he's giving me. So that's a practical thing that we tend to do, is saying, how's your love tank? And what can I do for you to make that love tank go up, make you feel more love for me?
You must observe the way you express your love to others and analyze what you complain about most and what you request from your significant other most often. Find the right time to convey what you need your partner to do for them to express their love.
Just ask, am I meeting your needs? Is there something I can do better? I think everyone has a desire to be served and to feel valuable. So if you are in a good place where you can communicate with your spouse and say, I want to make you feel loved. It's a desire of mine. Help me to know what I can do to make you feel loved. I think most people in a good relationship, or at least somewhat of a healthy relationship, are going to feel free to tell you that, especially if they know that you're serious and you're willing to do it. It's not like a trick or something. Well, I don't think you can ever make another person feel a certain way. That one, I think, is just something that's within them. We don't have the power to make people feel the way we want to feel. All you can do is show them love in the best way you know how. Communicate with them to ask them, what is the best way that I can make you feel loved? And then do that thing and hope that they're going to reciprocate with feelings of love. But sadly, our feelings are not something that we can control. So yeah, and even I should add on that a lot of times in marriage, you don't feel love for the other person. And that's when you make a choice to say, I chose to commit to this person for the rest of my life. And so regardless of whether I feel the love today, I'm still going to serve my husband. Like, there's days where I don't feel love, not because he's done necessarily anything wrong, but I just don't, I'm tired. I don't want to deal with this, But I still choose to maybe make dinner for him or help with the kids or, whatever it is that I do that makes him feel loved, because I want to feel that love again, because I want to go the distance with my husband in marriage. So that's another thing, is the feelings, I think, is we need to not put so much emphasis on those. They come and go. I mean, I've been married for 14 years, and you don't feel love every day for 14 years. I mean, you know what I mean? Like, there's definitely days where you're like, this guy's like a stranger in the house. Like, I'm married to him. Like, sometimes you just wake up and think, this is kind of weird. This guy's sleeping beside me. And so, I mean, it's not like every day you're like, oh, like, some days are great like that. So I continue to act on what I know is best for the marriage, not always on what I feel. Yeah.
Better communication between couples can be accomplished when one can demonstrate care to the other person in the love language the recipient understands.
I think when you do understand that a person has a love language, then maybe you just have to be very intentional. So I'll give specifics, maybe that'll, since we've already talked about love languages. Like for me, spending time is important. So my husband can say, I'm going to take Friday night and we're just going to go for a date. Or look, he'll say to me something like, I'm going to put the kids down. I'll take care of the bath and the brushing teeth and devotional and pajamas on. And then we're going to like just sit at the table and play a game together, something. Just something so that you and I are spending time together. Because again, we find that if we're not intentional about it, he ends up on his phone, I end up on my computer, and then, you know, the night is over. So him for serving, that usually looks like cooking a meal for him, or helping him like in the morning. Like for example, yesterday morning he had to go for a trip. And so I don't really like mornings. I'm not a morning person. So I got up early and I helped him pack his bag, and I made him a breakfast, and then I packed him some snacks for the road, and you know, just those kind of things really make him feel loved. So I think those are some specific examples in our personal marriage. Another love language of mine that's not as high as quality time, but is words of affirmation. And so my husband's very good throughout the day of sending little messages. Like right before the show, he wrote and said, I wish I could be with you. You know, I love you. Just know I'm cheering you on. And if I was beside you, I'd be smiling. You know, so like just constantly talking to each other throughout the day and reminding you, you're on my mind. I mean, my husband is extremely busy with his businesses, but he always finds like 10 seconds just to say, hey, I can't talk right now, but just know I can't wait to see you tonight. Or, you know, just little small things like that.
Okay, so basically in your advice, you say that time is very crucial in marriage, and also in some ways to show your love language.
Well, if your love language is time, I think all marriages need time together, but people who have a love language of quality time need even more time to feel that love. I mean, sometimes Percy and I can spend the whole day together, but we're not like interacting with each other. And I'll be like, oh, we never see each other. And he's like, we spent the whole day. And I'm like, it doesn't matter if we're sharing oxygen in the room. We weren't engaging. We, you know, I was working with the kids here. You were on your, you know, laptop here. You know, we were sharing oxygen, but we weren't sharing our hearts, you know? So, I mean, I think all marriages need time together to grow. But when you have someone with a gift, like a love language of quality time, then you really have to spend that time, like, engaging with them, not just sitting with them. But you can find some people, like my father, for example. I mean, I don't think his love language is really quality time, you know? So he's okay with, like, 30 minutes, and he's like, okay, I'm good, you know? So, again, you have to figure out what that person's love language is. Like, for example, someone with gifts, they may not want you to just sit and talk to them. They would rather you be out there shopping for the perfect gift for them, you know? So it's finding that love language that speaks to your spouse. Like for me, I don't really care much about material things. So you get me a gift and I'm like, how much money did you spend on that? Like, oh, that could have paid school fees. You know, like I'm very practical. Someone else would be like, you didn't even buy me a gift, like, so I'm not worthy of your money. So it just depends on how we're wired. And that's why you have to find out what your spouse is, or, you know, physical touch, for example, like, and that's not necessarily sexual touch. That's just, you know, hugs and kisses. Sometimes Percy, my husband, will come up to me when I'm cooking and put his arms around me, and I'm just like, I'm trying to cook, like, you're bothering me. Whereas some other lady would be like, you never hold me, you never touch me, you never hold my hand. I end up getting annoyed. I'm like, why are you, hey, I'm trying to cook, like, so again, it's finding out what suits your spouse, because different people have different ways that they express that love.
Maybe it's intuition.